Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Cassandra Terry, your manifesting miracle maker, and it is Transformation Tuesday. Come on in, join me. I typically see you guys from Facebook, from TikTok, from YouTube, and from LinkedIn. Welcome, everybody. I know it's a new time. I'm about 15 minutes later each day than previously because I am trying to get my workout schedule going. Good morning, Bridget. I hope you are recovering well. Drop a message there. Let me know how you are doing. Good morning, you guys from TikTok. Stop scrolling, jump in for a second. Let's talk about transformation and what it really means and how you can grab hold of it and actually make it happen. We set lots of goals for ourselves, especially at the beginning of every year. And usually by this time, we've lost track of what we were working for, and we are already, kind of back to our routine. We've lost the luster of that new year, new beginnings. At my gym, they say new year, new me. And what keeps us from actually getting there? That's a question I'm asking myself right now. I am glad to hear it, Bridget. I am so glad that you are doing better. Good morning, Cliff. Thanks for joining in as always. We are getting started with our Transformation Tuesday. And transformation is just a big word for change. And change for most people is difficult. It's not easy to change. Why? We are creatures of habit. We like our routine. Routine feels safe, even if it's not the best thing for us. If it's what we're accustomed to, we have a tendency to keep gravitating back towards it because of the familiarity. It feels safe. I just had an eye opener, guys. My husband and I go to the gym in the mornings now, which is why I've started this a little bit later. So 15 minutes later each day to give me a chance to at least breathe a little bit, catch my breath before we start the live. So going forward, it'll be at 7:15 instead of 7. And that's the reason why I'm still wearing my name tag. Let me get rid of that. But today was our check-in. And for whatever reason, this is the one place where I have struggled the most to gain consistency. And consistency is a required component for transformation. You've got to build new habits. You have to be consistent. You have to be dedicated and do the work. And when you fall off, you don't fall off for long. You dust yourself off and you get back in it. And that's where my struggle is. It doesn't matter what it is. As long as I'm doing it every day and I'm in it, I am in it and I'm going to give it my best. But let life happen and throw me off. And it's so hard to get going again. I don't know what that is about in my personality, but I've seen it over and over again. It's played out. And working out is the easiest place because you physically have to get up. You physically have to make yourself get up. You go to the gym, and there are days where, and my husband and I do it together, so that helps. But I had gone for a few months now, without consistently working out, and we've just gotten back into it over the last couple of weeks. Last week, sore. Every step was painful, and I woke up this morning feeling good, going, "Oh, I'm so glad to have that first week again behind me because now I'm starting to feel better. I'm not so sore. I can start to build up the strength, build up the endurance, and it not be such a difficult process. And so I'm in that sweet spot. But then today was our check in day. And that's where they do the full body scan. You figure out your weight and how much of your weight is fat versus how much of it is lean muscle versus how much is skeletal. And those numbers did not hit like I would like to see them hit. And it's like, I'm talking about transformation today, and I'm standing in the place in my life where transformation is the most difficult. I think part of the reason is I was always small. always, just naturally. And so, and that's just the way the women, especially in my family, are. We're small up until around 40. And then around 40, we start to pack on a little bit of weight, and it gets harder to maintain. The hormones change, the body starts to change, and I haven't built up the discipline to do the work that I need to do to maintain a healthy weight, because it's not about a particular number. It's not about a particular size of my clothes or anything like that. It's about being healthy. And when I look at the percentage of body fat that I'm carrying every day, there's absolutely nothing healthy about it. And I actually don't look that bad in my clothes. People would be surprised at my weight. I know I was. I was. And so it's not about a look, it's about a feeling, and it's about being healthy. And I'm like, okay, this is where my transformation focus needs to be. I've been doing a lot of work over the last couple of years about the internal, about my mindset. But now I'm staring at a place where I can clearly see there's more work to be done. And that's part of the message. We gain momentum, we do well in one place. That's great. Just realize that there's other places where we could do some work as well, and it will behoove us to just keep peeling that onion and finding the places where things are not as you would like them to be, and then commit to doing that work. And that's what me and the trainer were talking about this morning. He's trying to peel back the onion and figure out, what's that thing? What am I holding on to, or what am I not letting go of that makes this such a difficult thing for me? And I shared with you guys yesterday some of the presentation that I did during Women's History month with Girl Geek. And we're going to go back to some of that. And I think the message to myself and to anybody listening is, where you want change, where you're looking for that transformation, realize that you have the power. I have to look at myself and realize that it's up to me, that I'm literally making a choice. Am I going to drink the water, or am I going to grab my Dr. Pepper? Am I going to have a healthy lunch, or am I going to go through the drive-through and quickly grab something? I talk about that all the time. Life is just a series of choices and consequences, choices and consequences. And sometimes we forget that, because we're making these little micro choices all day, every day. They're so automatic that we don't even realize that that's what's happening, that we're actually making a choice. I am making a choice with what I pick up every single day, what I consume every single day. And the consequence of that is the highest non-pregnancy body weight that I've ever had. And that's not the worst part. The worst part is the percentage of body fat. That is not healthy. In order for my body to process and do the things that it needs to do, my heart has to work harder. My lungs have to work harder. My liver and everything is processing more fat and working harder. And that's where I've got to allow my mind to go. It's not about what I'm going to look like in whatever this summer. It's about the fact that I am making the temple, I'm making my body work harder just to be, so that I can have that bag of chips, have that Dr. Pepper. I see, is that Robina? So I see somebody giving me some gifts on TikTok. I appreciate you so much. You're actually my first gifter, and I want to thank you for that. And good morning, Alicia. I see you joined us from Facebook. So guys, we're talking about transformation today. And the one thing that I don't ever want to do, I don't care how often I show up, I don't care how often I speak about whatever the case may be, the most important message is, I don't have it all together. I don't have all the answers. I don't even know what all the questions are, but I am fighting with everything I have for the life that's important to me. And I actually take that back. I'm not fighting, because that I don't want to be in a battle. I am trying to make choices. I am trying to live my life in a way that I find myself in ease and in flow, and having the things that will show that having the things that will push me towards the life that I really want to live. That's what it's all about. I only get this one, as far as I know. This is it in the flesh on this side. This is it. And I don't know when that ends. But while I'm here, I want to enjoy my family. I want to enjoy my body. I want to have great experiences. There's some things that I want to accomplish. And in order to do that, I have to be mindful. I have to be really mindful of the decisions that I'm making, not just what I talk about with you guys when we're talking about mindset and all this kind of stuff. I've got to put my money where my mouth is. And in this case, I've got to put down the stuff that's not healthy for me. And I've got to pick up and say that I am so important, that my body is so important that I have to be mindful about what I give it. And you can take that same thing, it can be your mental health. If you are somebody who's anxious, someone who's often stressed, start peeling that back and seeing where that's coming from and say to yourself, I am so important. I am so worthy. I matter so much that I deserve to live in a life that's peaceful, to have a life of calm. I need to live and I deserve to live in ease and flow. And you can have that, but first of all, you got to identify what it is. And so that's what I'm doing right now. You guys are my accountability partners. I am identifying that I need a healthier physical lifestyle because it's all intertwined. If I'm not feeling well physically, if I'm not doing the things that I need to do in that space, it's only a matter of time before it affects my mental. It's only a matter of time before it affects my attitude. It's only a matter of time before it affects my relationships because we are not separate. We are one being. There's different aspects: mind, body, spirit, soul. There's all those different aspects, but they all work together. They all come together to create the whole. And I want to be wholly healthy. I want a healthy body. I want a healthy mind. I want a healthy spirit. I want healthy relationships. And I want that for all of you guys. In order for us to do that, as we work together, do the same thing that I'm doing. Identify where the weak spot is right now. Where should you focus? Is it your mental health? Is it your relationships? Is it your physical health? What's going on in your life that could be stronger? And that's where you want to focus, and that's where you want to be super mindful of the choices that you're making, because as you get stronger there, it's going to carry over into every other aspect of your life. And Douglas, you're right. Consistency is the key to transformation. Consistent for a period of time when it comes to the physical health. And then something will happen. Life will get to lifing and throw me off course. And then I lose the track that I'm on. And then it takes me so much time to get back on it. And that's what I've got to shorten. I've got to shorten that time. If I fall, I've got to dust myself off much quicker and get back in it so that I don't lose the gains. I can look back at myself a year ago and go, oh my gosh, how did I undo all that hard work? By being inconsistent, by not keeping it up. And so you want to make sure that when you're going through your transformation, when you're thinking about what it is you want to see differently, that you realize that you are the author of that story. You're the author of that part of your life. And however you want it to be, you are absolutely capable right now. You don't have to have a particular anything beyond what you already have to begin to transform and have the life that you would like to have. You have all the tools, you have all the everything that you need to start that journey. You just have to believe it. Believe in yourself and then realize that every choice that you make is either going to move you towards it or it's going to set you back. Am I moving towards my goal? Am I stagnant or am I sliding backwards? Those are the questions you want to ask yourself when you're making those choices. What is that choice going to do? How is it going to affect the life that I say that I want to have? So start by rewriting whatever beliefs that you've been holding on to that are holding you back. Good morning, Mother. I see that you've joined. Sabrina, welcome. This is the first, I think it's the first time you joined. Welcome. I'm glad to see you here. And we're talking about transformation this morning, guys. Every Tuesday, we talk about transformation. And I was just being a little transparent and going, I got a good shocker this morning, and I at the gym and realized that my weight is higher than it's ever been without me being pregnant. I haven't been pregnant for 19 years, 20 years. My baby will be 20 in December. So I can't call it pregnancy weight. It is Lorna Doone cookies. It is having a job where I'm sitting and typing all day long instead of moving. It's drinking Dr. Pepper instead of water. You have to get that real with yourself. Whatever it is, it's for, it's not physical for everybody. We all have different things that we would like to be like, that we would like to transform. But when you decide to make those decisions, you have got to get crystal clear and real with yourself. Your desires to change have to be bigger than your excuses. My desire to change has to be bigger than my excuses. So, where does your desire come from? What's your why? For me, it's better physical health. The fact that I'm carrying that much body fat blows my mind. And I want to see that body fat change. I want more lean muscle and less body fat. I'm not talking about a number on a scale. I am not talking about a dress size. I am talking about physically transforming my body so that it is in a healthier state. It works better. I don't feel bloated. So there's some decisions that I have to make every time I get ready to intake something. Move me towards the leaner muscle, or is it going to add already too much body fat? It's real simple. When you break it down, when you know where you're going wrong, what decisions that you're making that are hindering where you'd like to go, if you can get that real with yourself and be cognizant of the decisions that you're making throughout the day, you'll get there before you know it. You will get there before you know it. So you guys know what my struggle is. You can, if there's something that you want to share, drop it in the comments. We can definitely be each other's accountability partners. My goal is to drop this body fat, and I will every once in a while drop in and let you guys know how that is going, because right now it is not what it should be. It's just not at a healthy state. So I shared this with everybody yesterday. I know in most of the social media platforms that I'm showing up, I dropped this as a link that you could get to. And this is the 5 ways to subdue your inner critic. If you're going to transform, it's going to start in your mind. That's where it all begins. What message is playing in your head that tells you that you either don't have the ability or that you don't deserve whatever it is that you're trying to get to? And we're going to walk through those steps quickly today, with the first step being you've got to realize that that message is that the messages are there. That's the first thing, is realization, having an awareness that we have an inner voice and that it's running the show. You may not realize it, especially because we make so many little micro decisions all day, every day. Something is guiding those decisions. It's your subconscious, it's your inner mind, your inner thoughts, that critic that's telling you, girl, just have the bag of chips. You know you don't have any willpower anyway. You know how much you like Dr. Pepper. You've worked this hard, so you may as well. You've been working all day. You need some caffeine. Go ahead and have it. It's not going to kill you. It just might. It just might. But I've got this tape playing in my head that's telling me that it's okay. I'm still remembering being in my 20s, even though I'll be 55 in a month. I'm still remembering naturally being small and being able to eat and drink and do whatever I wanted. But I was busy. I was moving. I was in athletics and different things. And so I didn't have an issue with body fat. I'm not all that stuff anymore. I am sitting on my, you know what, all day long in meetings, typing. So I'm not moving around as much, except for first thing in the morning. So I've got to fix that. I've got to build more walking into my day. When you realize what you're dealing with and what your goal is, you can start to make different decisions and you can fix it. But first, you've got to realize. Once you realize that you've got this inner critic plan, the one thing I don't want you to do, 2 things. I don't want you to ignore it because it's there for a reason, and I don't want you to fight with it. Our inner voice was born, that inner critic is built out of trying to keep us safe from something. It was born out of a lot of times trauma in your life, a lot of times where things didn't quite fit, or when you were young and you made some assumptions that you may have made differently, being able to think as an adult. But a lot of this stuff forms, most of this stuff forms in our early years. And somewhere along the way, I got some bad messaging, but I'm not going to fight with that messaging. I realized that at one point in time, it popped up to serve me, to keep me safe, to make me make some different decisions. But now that I'm not in whatever danger it thought it was preventing me from, that's gone. I am in control. I'm I'm an adult. I can make good decisions. And sometimes I have to remember that and not just be on that autopilot. So you don't fight with it, because then you're focused on the negative. You don't ignore it, because you need to really hear it so that you have the opportunity to reassure it that everything's okay, which is the third step. I literally will talk to myself. I will be talking to myself a lot today, because all day long I've got choices to make with this new revelation. It's like, all right, and you don't need that bag of chips. Instead, grab your protein shake. Instead, have a healthy lunch. Those are the conversations that I'll be having with myself until I can get back in the habit of making good choices. Right now, the habit is autopilot. Oh, I'll just call DoorDash and have them drop me a pizza, or drop me this, or drop me that. It's not going to serve me. And as I get older, it's going to get harder and harder and harder to make those physical changes. So if I don't put a stake in the ground now and make it, my future could look like high blood pressure. My future could look like high cholesterol. My future could look like heart disease and all this stuff that I'd rather not deal with. So I need to start making healthy choices now, so that I'm not looking at those things later. I don't want to live a life on medication. I really don't. So eat the fruit, Cassandra. Put the snacks down. Get a healthy snack. So those are the whys. You have to be really clear and committed to why you want to make the change, and that's what's going to help you make those better choices. My why is a shift in body fat. My why is to not live on medication. My why is to keep my numbers that my doctor's going to check year in and year out in the right place, so that I don't have to go down those roads. That's going to be stronger than the excuse, oh, just have the chips. One bag of chips not going to kill you. Eh, one bag of chips starts to compile with all the other stuff that's going on in the lifestyle. So I've got to make better decisions if I want something better. You can't do the same thing and think you're going to have a different result. We know that. We know all of this. I will probably never say anything that you haven't heard before, that you don't already know for yourself. But sometimes we just need to remind ourselves and recommit to what's important to us. So you reassure it, and then you want to reframe whatever that negative messaging is that's playing in your mind. Yes, my mom's saying mindset. Whatever that is, once you connect to it, once you really hear what it is, then you're in a position to deal with it. If I'm telling myself over and over again that the best I can do, the best I deserve is a pizza, then where's that coming from? Why don't I feel like I deserve a healthier lifestyle? Or maybe I don't, maybe I think I deserve it, but I think I'm not capable of it. I don't know. You have to do that work. And then whatever you discover there, you start to rewrite it and repeat that reframe over and over again until you get to autopilot with the positive message. If I don't like myself, if I tell myself that I'm not capable, I can flip that. I can rewrite it. It may take me a little bit to believe it, but that's okay. Put it on your mirror. See the new message. Repeat the new message to yourself first thing in the morning when you're brushing your teeth. Repeat it again at night when you're getting ready to go to bed. Repeat it throughout the day. Do what you need to do to get a healthier mindset so that you can make healthier choices. We all can do that. And then you repeat. You repeat this cycle every time you find that negative messaging, wherever it is, because it doesn't just live in one part of our psyche, in one part of our being. Wherever you find it, I talked yesterday about being a people pleaser. I was a people pleaser not because people told me I had to do what they said. I don't know if anybody in life has ever really told me that. I mean, we have that with our parents when we're little people and they're setting the boundaries. But somewhere for me, I began to believe that if I didn't do what people said, if I didn't make people laugh, or if I didn't make people feel good, if I didn't compliment, whatever the case may be, if I didn't give them what I thought they needed, they wouldn't have anything to do with me. The relationship would be over. That was my thinking. The person on the other end of this conversation, this relationship, would probably had no idea that I was feeling like that. And they certainly didn't think I was buying the relationship. We buy things in many ways. It's not just money, it's time, it's attention, it's over complimenting, it's doing for them when we don't really want to, or when it's to our detriment. You're actually buying that relationship because you don't believe that you, just as you are, could have it any other way. That's a dangerous way to live. But when you stop and think, when you stop and really look at where that's coming from and what the underlying belief is, what's your core belief, what's making you respond this way, that's where the work is. It really has nothing to do with the other person. It's some bad messaging that you formed over the years, and you're acting as if it's reality. But once you know the messaging is there, that's when you get to rewrite it. Now, my message to myself is not, I have to do what this person says or they won't be my friend. My messaging is to myself is that I deserve friends who care about me just as much as I care about them. And I deserve friends who are going to support me in my yeses and support me in my nos, because our relationship is bigger than any activity. Our relationship is bigger than what I do for them. Those are the people that I want to spend time with. Those are the people that I want in my life. And the only way for me to have that is to cultivate that type of relationship. The other person is completely clueless in most cases that I'm buying their attention, that I'm buying time with them. They don't know. They think I'm just nice. I'm complimentary. I'm fun to be around. They have no idea that underneath I'm feeling like that's the only way that the relationship would continue. That's internal. That's me. That's my faulty thinking. It requires me to get with myself, figure out what that thinking is, and then start to rewrite it. And then I'm in a position to have genuine relationships. Then I'm in a position to self care and to know what my boundaries are and to act accordingly. If you don't know, you could just be led around by your nose, doing whatever you feel like you need to do to maintain these relationships and never get true to yourself. I lived on autopilot like that for a very long time. And guess what happened? I woke up angry. I woke up cynical. I didn't trust anybody. I literally thought that everybody was out to get something from me. Everybody. Oh, they're just around because I do this. Oh, they just spend time with me because I make them laugh. We have a good time when we go out. Oh, they just want to hang out with me because I pick up the tab most of the time. Nobody asked me to do any of those things. My faulty reasoning caused me to behave that way. And then I turned that faulty reasoning and used that to not trust other people. But I created that situation because of the tape that was playing in my head. And that's what I want everybody to understand. And that's why I talk about mindset and transformation and being intentional. The things that I talk about all the time is because, just like I said on that previous slide, you are the author. You're literally writing your life as you go, choice by choice by choice. You're developing your relationships and what those boundaries are, situation after situation, choice by choice. If you want them to be stronger, it's not going to start with the other person. It's going to start with you getting clear about what that means, getting clear about what you deserve, getting clear about what your values are, getting to your value. And once you value yourself, then the other decisions and how you move through life will line up. I obviously have some value work to do when it comes to my physical body. I do. It's obvious, or I wouldn't be making the decisions that I am making. And that's a hard truth. That's a hard pill to swallow. It's bitter. But if I don't take my medicine, if I don't swallow that bitter pill, I'm never going to lick this problem. We'll be right back here this time next year. And I'll be talking about how I did great for a few months and I lost some weight. I tightened up. I got rid of some of the body fat and then I gained it all back because I haven't dealt with the core belief. The core belief. My body was mismanaged as a young person. This is clicking in my head literally as I'm talking now. As a young person, my body was mismanaged. Period. There is no question about that. And because I wasn't cared for properly, because my physical body became somebody else's toy, it created some negative messaging. I remember years ago, in one of my first big jobs, I had a female manager, and she wanted to go shopping with me, and she said, "You are so cute. You have the cutest little body under there. Why do you keep covering up with these big clothes?" And it clicked in my head back then, and I was like, "Yeah, I do kind of cover up. I've been one extreme or the other." But it comes out of a need to protect my physical body. It comes out of a need of me being able to say what the boundaries are, who can come in and who can't, who can touch me and who can't. Revelation happening right now, people. So, this is not what I intended to talk about, but because of those negative experiences as a really little person, it's feeding into why and how I treat my body still today. And I think because I'm getting to the core belief right now that I'll be in a better position to take better care of myself. That's something that I can talk to my therapist about and say, hey, I'm seeing how this is showing up in a different way and how it's causing me to make bad decisions as to what I consume. Having a little bit of extra fluff feels safe. On one hand, I'll tell you, someone who has been sexually mistreated, on one hand, and I can only speak for myself, it's shown up in two ways. On one hand, it's very difficult. I want to feel sexually attractive all the time because it's playing in my head. I see that. But then on the other hand, I want people to not see that. At the same time, it's like this dichotomy that I can't fix. I'm going to have to do some work there. But my eating habits, my inability to take care of my body, I am seeing the line clearer than I've ever seen it right now, is because as a little person, my body wasn't properly taken care of. And I've learned some bad habits. I've learned some ways to cover up. I've learned some ways to self protect. And that's what I'm talking about, finding that negative messaging. I don't have to pack on extra body fat to be safe. I'm safe now. There is absolutely nobody in my life that's physically mistreating me in any way. That's the reassurance that I have to give this internal message. I have to talk to myself and tell myself that I'm safe, that I can be as fit as I would like to be. I can look however I would like to look. I can be healthy and still be safe. I don't have to do any of this extra stuff to protect myself because I'm already safe. That's the reassurance state. So you guys saw me recognize in real time where this issue is coming from and do a little bit of reassurance for myself. And now I've got to reframe that message. I've got to do the work. And I mean, pen and paper in hand for me, actually writing down the negative message and then rewriting it with a positive message. I am safe. I can be healthy. I can shed the body fat and I don't have to feel like the fact that my body looks better is going to make me a victim. I won't be victimized because of how I look. I won't be victimized because I'm small. I won't be victimized because my clothes fit a certain way and draw unnecessary, unwanted attention. And that's what it comes down to. There's a safety that I said to my husband not too long ago, that I care more about being safe than I care about being loved, because there was a point in time where my safety was broken, and I've carried that need to be protected and to be safe my whole life. I'm safe. And I have to keep reminding myself of that. Whatever shape I'm in, whatever size I am, however much body fat I'm carrying, whatever the situation is, I am safe. And so that I will keep saying to myself, especially throughout today, because it's a brand new connection. I'm realizing why. I just said it to my trainer. I don't know why. I get to a certain point, I start to feel better. I start to look better. I start to see the lean muscle coming, and then I fall off, because that's a scary place to be. I equate that with being with being sexier. And when I'm sexier, maybe I'm going to have some unwanted attention. And then if I have that unwanted attention, do I know how to protect myself? Can I remain safe? It all comes down to safety for me. So you guys got way more than I intended to give this morning. This, I didn't think it was going to unfold, but things happen how they're supposed to. What comes up eventually comes out. I hope that if there's anybody on that has ever experienced anything like what I'm talking about, that you're willing to do the work. First of all, it wasn't your fault. It absolutely was not your fault. I don't care how old you were. Even if you're an adult, it's not your fault. If someone is physically crossing your boundaries, it is absolutely not your fault. If you're experiencing anything like that today, it currently, reach out to somebody who can help you. Get the help that you need so that you can get to a point of safety, and so that you can start to do the work, so that you will never ever allow anybody to take control of you like that again. So that's the message for today. It wasn't the message that I intended, but it was obviously the message, even for myself, that needed to come out. So on Transformation Tuesday, I said in the description that it starts in the mind. It starts with the transformation in the mind. If you will do the internal work and figure out what's holding you back, what's standing between you and the life that you desire, figure that out and then do the work to reframe that, get past it however you need to get past it. I've got a course, I mention it just about every day now. It's called Transforming Your Inner Critic into Your Inner Advocate. It's a class that is of no charge. It's self-paced, and it doesn't take a long time to get through it, but it walks you through these steps. It has some tools that can help you actually expand on what we're talking about in the short time that we're together each day. You can do the work on your own, and you can start to reframe that inner voice and make it an advocate, so that you're advocating for yourself and you're pulling yourself towards your goals instead of standing between where you are now and where you would like to be. Hello, Zion. Zion said, powerful conversation, Cassandra. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. So, y'all, triggering conversation. If this is something that is really getting to you, have a conversation with somebody that you trust. I didn't do any warnings, because I didn't know that this is where how things were going to unfold today. So I know talking about things like this can be very difficult for some people. If you're feeling triggered, talk to somebody who can help you work through it. Get the help that you need. And in the future, if I am going to have a conversation like this, I will try my best to do a trigger warning, so that you can decide on the front end whether or not you want to go through such a conversation. So I appreciate your attentiveness this morning, everybody. We will be back tomorrow at 7:15 Central, where we will talk about being intentional. Tomorrow is Wake Up Wednesday. We always talk about living an intentional life. If you catch this later, hashtag replay, please leave your comments, and I will be more than happy to respond later. I am going to go do some self-care. This has been a lot for me this morning, more than what I expected. So I'm going to go take care of me. My prayer is that you do exactly the same thing, and we will talk again tomorrow morning. Thanks. you guys so much for listening. Have a great